Hi there, welcome to Ladbrokes.com. I'm Adriano Russo and this is our League Cup final preview as we look ahead to the big game on Sunday at Wembley Stadium. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff, it's on Sky, it's Aston Villa against Manchester United in the League Cup final. Looking ahead to this game, a man who's covered plenty of finals in his time, the voice of football, John Motson. How are you, John?
Very good, thank you. Yes.
Good to see you. Looking forward to this one, I expect.
Yes.
And ex-professional and our resident betting expert, Ricky George, is alongside us as well. Hi, Ricky, how are you?
I'm fine, and covered no finals.
He's nearly been there.
Yeah.
Let's look forward to this one, of course. Aston Villa against Manchester United. Both teams involved in action midweek, of course. Villa in the other cup, the FA Cup, of course, and Manchester United in league action as well. Both of them high-scoring games as well. Let's touch on the Villa game, of course, on Wednesday night. Got through against Crystal Palace with some ease. Plenty of penalties in that game as well.
Yeah, a little bit of history there, because Martin O'Neill, as a manager, had never reached the last 8 of the FA Cup before, and he's obviously done that this year. I don't know whether that's an omen for Sunday, because his record in the League Cup is second to no other person. He had 3 finals with Nottingham Forest, and this is his 4th as a manager. So of the previous 6, he won 4 and lost 2. Most of the ones as a manager were with Leicester City, of course. So a lot will hinge around him and his battle with Sir Alex Ferguson, who must have been pleased with the way Manchester United beat West Ham, as you've said. Rooney in fantastic form, 27 goals so far this season. All in all, I think it builds up to it could be a classic, because you know, United don't sort of by nature want to defend for too long, and Villa have got some if they play that way, have got some good attacking players. But I don't know, because I saw Villa draw 0-0 at Tottenham and they played a more defensive game, Rick.
Ricky, look at the weekend fixtures that both these clubs were involved in, particularly Manchester United, I'm thinking here, losing out to Everton. How's that going to affect their build-up to the weekend's final?
Well, that was a comprehensive defeat, wasn't it? I mean, Everton thoroughly deserved that. And when Rooney's not firing at the moment, then Manchester United are not firing. In contrast, of course, Villa got 5 against Burnley, and Stuart Downing was suddenly amongst the goals. So I think this game is going to be a lot closer than perhaps the odds will suggest.
What do you make of their meeting earlier in the season as well, though? I mean, historically, Villa don't actually have a very good record against Manchester United in the league, do they?
Not at Villa Park in the league, they don't, no. Although they did do well at Old Trafford in the league this year, didn't they?
1-0 winner at Bonlahor.
Agbonlahor. And just talking just for a minute about Agbonlahor, and without going off the topic too much, Villa, of course, have got a number of very good English players that Capello will be watching very closely with the England match coming up next Wednesday. I mean, I'm thinking of Ashley Young, Agbonlahor, James Milner. I mean, the Villa team is probably the most English team in the Premier League, if you think about it. And Downing, who Rick's already mentioned, of course. And Rooney clearly has already got his England place secure. But I just wonder whether the big occasion at Wembley, I mean, Manchester United were there, weren't they, last year, and have been in sort of an FA Cup semi-final there as well. I just wonder whether their experience of that kind of atmosphere might just play a part. I could be wrong.
I mean, clearly the teams are going to be important, and Manchester United are going to put out a full-strength side. But bizarrely, in the early stages of this competition, Ricky, they weren't taking it tremendously seriously until maybe the semi-final against Manchester City. They didn't want City to beat them, did they? No,
well, precisely. I mean, that became the biggest game of their season, didn't it, in a way? But historically, sides have treated this competition really unpredictably. Going back to the last final these two contested, which was back in 1994 at Wembley, which Villa won, incidentally, 3-1, and Manchester United had a very, very full-strength side out. In contrast, the last time they met in the competition, which was in 1999, United had a side that was unrecognisable. There were players in there you would never have heard of.
Bosnich in goal, was it, you said?
Clegg, Higginbottom.
The ones that never made it.
Luke Chadwick, Greening.
Talking of fringe players, actually that's quite interesting, because up to the semi-final, Martin O'Neill had Guzan in goal and didn't play Brad Friedel, his number 1 choice. But the fact that he used Guzan in midweek against Crystal Palace makes me think that Friedel will play on the big day. And the fact that Alex Ferguson used Foster against West Ham in goal the other night makes me think that Van der Sar will play on the big day. So the point you made about this looks like a League Cup final where both teams are going to put their top players on the pitch. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Yeah. 2 players who are definitely going to be missing for United. Nani, who's suspended. Ferdinand, whose back injury has reoccurred again. Warnock should be fit, shouldn't he, after the shin injury for Aston Villa as well. What do you make of their history in the competition as well? 3-time winner against 5-time winner.
Oh, they both got big League Cup backgrounds, haven't they? I mean, absolutely. I mean, I think Villa won the first one, didn't they, in 1961? And United have been in more than one final recently. I remember they played Wigan in the final at the Millennium Stadium in Cardiff not very long ago. So, yeah, I mean, I think they compare very favourably. And I think, in a way, the League Cup, if we can call it that, because it's had so many different sponsors. It's now the Carlng, of course, but the League Cup, I think it's almost made a bit of a comeback this year, you know, probably because of those two semi-finals that you mentioned.
Too true. Let's look at some prices then. Is there a lot to choose, or Ladbrokes going for Manchester United, the holders, as favourites here?
Well, I think there is a lot to choose. I mean, if you're going to go for the 90-minute bet here, United are favourites here, 8-11. Villa 100-30, and it's 11-5 the draw. That's in 90 minutes. But if you're going to just go for the outright victory, obviously extra time and penalties, depending upon 2-5 United there, and 7-4 against Villa. Now, I just think that the game, as I said right at the start here, is going to be a lot closer than that. And Ladbrokes, incidentally, offer 18 markets on this particular game. So have a good look at the website there, and you'll get plenty of choices.
Where does your gut feeling go, heart or head?
I'm going to go heart. I'm tempted by the 10-3 that Ricky mentioned there for Aston Villa in 90 minutes, but I might have a saver on the draw after 90 minutes and extra time, which I think is 11-5. I don't know, I haven't worked out whether one of those bets cancels out the other, but if I think I could make a profit if either one comes out. Yes, I mean, in other words, I'm going to back against Manchester United, effectively.
Yeah, would you say the same as well? Because, you know, it's a rarity, isn't it, for Villa to get into a final and do the business, particularly against Manchester United.
Yeah, except that if you go back on the history, Villa are 5 times winners of this competition. Yeah. Only Liverpool have won more. United 3 times only. They've been losing finalists 4 times, United. And bear in mind, of course, that this season, I think I'm right in saying that Villa have taken 4 points from Manchester United this season.
They have.
And they are absolutely firing at the moment. So, yeah, I think that 100-30 in 90 minutes is good value. 7-4 outright might be the bet to take, bearing in mind that John Carew took 2 penalties in midweek and scored them both.
Yes. Yeah, it's going to be an enthralling final. We're tending to veer towards Aston Villa, but hey, you can never rule out Manchester United in the final anyway. All will be revealed on Sunday, 3 o'clock kick-off at Wembley Stadium. The League Cup final between Aston Villa and Manchester United. We're looking forward to it. Have a flutter. It's always a bit more fun with some cash on it, isn't it? John, enjoy the football this weekend, won't you?
Looking forward to this one, yeah.
Should be a goodie. And Ricky George, thank you very much indeed as well.
Adriano.
And we'll be back, of course, here on Ladbrokes.com with more previews for you. Take care. We'll see you soon.